Why are we in Syria? Why in the goddamn fuck are we in Syria? Or Afghanistan? Or Cameroon? What are we doing in Cameroon?
Hey, why are we in Syria? You ever wonder? You ever wonder why we're even there?
I do, Jimmy. For 12 hours each night, 3 days on and 2 days off, I sat in a secure office beyond the help desk. Among the 20 desks, each bearing 2 or 3 computer terminals reserved for the sysadmins who kept the CIA's global network online. Regardless of how fancy that might sound, the job itself was relatively banal, and can basically be described as waiting for catastrophe to happen. The problems generally weren't too difficult to solve. The moment something went wrong, I had to log in to try to fix it remotely. If I couldn't, I had to physically descend into the data center hidden a floor below my own in the new headquarters building, or walk the eerie half-mile through the connecting tunnel over to the data center in the old headquarters building and tinker around with the machinery itself. So, what are we talking about today? We are talking about Nancy Pelosi, give me my $2,000. Nancy Pelosi owes me $2,000. So, yeah, Nancy Pelosi, U.S. Congress, the Republicans, Kevin McCarthy, everybody. Give me my $2,000 check. Give me my $2,000 check. So on Monday, right now it is Saturday, day after Xmas, December 26, 2020. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, in 2 days, Monday, 3 p.m., there's going to be a vote. There's going to be a vote. They're going to try to override his veto on the military bill, which is incredible. I guess the Democrats are the imperialists now. So he vetoed the military bill. He's defunding the military to defend a Confederate ideal. He wants those names on the military bases. So on Monday, 3 p.m., they're going to vote to try to override that veto for the military bill, which is $740 billion, and they introduced an amendment. This is AOC and Rashida Tlaib. This isn't a $2,000 only bill, a standalone $2,000 only bill, which is what I would prefer. This is an amendment. So you take the $600 checks out of the $900 billion COVID package and then put the $2,000 in. And so we're not saving any money. We're actually going to be adding another, $500 billion or so. So this shit's unprecedented. This has never happened. This is like asking for Medicare for all, $2,000 for the American people. We got the $1,200 checks. They was going to cut that shit in half. Oh, fantastic. I guess $1,200 for 2020 and then $600 for 2021. So this is unprecedented. It's never happened in America before. So it's pie in the sky. Why would you even try to ask for it? Why would you even try to ask for it? That's like forcing the vote on Medicare for all. And by the way, Ilhan Omar is in favor of forcing the vote on Medicare for all. It's weird how people say don't even vote for it. Why? Because we've never done it before, and, it just won't pass. You got the Republicans and the the neoliberals. It won't pass. It's impossible. You can't get Medicare for all. You can't get a $2,000 check. You can't veto a military bill. Not in America, the land of dreams, where everything's possible. Not in America, the nation that landed on the moon. And the Democrats are the ones that are going to be in power. So you're telling me that when the Democrats control government, they can't get shit done too? So we got a failed state. We got a broken, failed state. So to go back to the AOC, she announced all this, I'm going to put this up for a vote. Immediately they put up a unanimous consent agreement. Immediately they asked for a unanimous consent, which is basically just kind of a voice vote. They, dictate the time and the debate. It's a consideration. That's what a unanimous thing is, whatever, that unanimous shit is. But it's a quick way to vote for the damn thing. Just up or down vote. right? Have a quick discussion, up or down vote, and then that's it. But now on Monday we're going to have a roll call vote. So not just voice vote, it's going to be put your name, write your name right next to the bill and say yes or no. It's a roll call vote. Every person has to show up and they have to, vote one way or another, and it'd be on record, which is what we want with Medicare for all. So I would prefer a standalone $2,000 check-only bill because it's so much cheaper. It is so much cheaper. If you look at the numbers, okay, they're having all these billion-dollar bills or trillion-dollar bills. I mean, the military thing is $740 billion. That's $750 billion. Then the COVID-19 is $900 billion. That's, basically all pork, $1 trillion worth of pork. So we got $1 trillion for imperialism. We got $1 trillion for everybody else, right, to count the amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, to kill brown Muslim Palestinians being oppressed by Israel, $30 million to kill Venezuelans, so $900 billion, more imperialism, more pork, and then there's a separate government $2.3 trillion fucking bill. And then these arrogant assholes want to sit there and pretend, oh, this actually in this bill and not that bill. You're telling me they don't negotiate these bills in tandem? Well, we'll just put it in the military bill, and then we'll do the COVID bill, and then we'll do the NDAA. And so you got $740 billion that was vetoed, so we haven't spent it yet. To fund it, could you imagine Barack Obama vetoing a military bill, hating the troops? Colin Kaepernick took a knee, and that was somehow shitting on the troops. But not financing the troops, that's not shitting on them. So $900 billion for the COVID thing, where Nepal and, Burma and all these nations, Venezuela, the Juan Guaidos of Venezuela and Israel, that's $500 million, $1.3 billion for Egypt, the fucking military dictatorship, which the Russians will. So that's $4 trillion, $2.3 trillion for the government, $900 billion for the people. How come the government gets so fucking much more? And then $940 billion for the military-industrial complex. That's $4 trillion. $4 trillion. And everybody else gets money but you and me. You and me, America, we don't get the money. We were going to get $600, right? We're going to get the crumbs. But out of the $4 trillion, the $600 is going to cost $170 billion. So $600 checks for everybody is $170 billion. So do the math. A $2,000 check for every American costs $567 billion. If you believe those first numbers, $170 billion, $600 checks is $170 billion. So $2,000 checks, $567 billion. $567 billion is less than $900 billion. It's less than the COVID total. So instead of all that pork and all that horse shit that's in the $900 billion boondoggle, this $4 trillion. So let's just focus on the COVID bill. If we only do the $2,000 checks, it costs us $567 billion. Cut out all the pork, and we'll actually save ourselves $333 billion. It won't be at the $900 billion anymore. It'll be $567 billion. That is way less than $900 billion. That's way less than $4 trillion. That's way less than $2.3 trillion. It's even less than the $740 billion for the military-industrial complex. Pay America first. Pay the American people first. Why does everybody else get their fucking beak wet? Everybody else gets their palms greased in America with the American government. But the American people, Medicare for all is about our lives. Health is life. Our government don't give a fuck about our lives. They don't give a fuck about our lives. They can't look at the shit they care about. Who wrote this 5,000-page bill? Does anybody know? Bernie knows. They didn't read the damn thing. And here they're introducing an amendment into this boondoggle spruce goose fucking pork barrel, pork loaded bill. And then in that 5,000 page, you got laws. Illegal online streaming is now a felony. They're going to cut taxes for 3 martini lunches. So you got a bunch of fucking, rich people getting their goddamn taxes cut. What the fuck are you all doing? Who the fuck authored this? Why would you just put your name down on it? Because the leadership told you? Only Tulsi Gabbard and Rashida Tlaib had the courage to vote against this. And 50 Republicans, including Scott Tipton. So since nobody read it, who voted for it, right? Not Pramila, not Bernie. Is Jeff Bezos running this nation? Does Jeff Bezos run this country? Did Jeff Bezos get the U.S. Congress to write this $4 trillion clusterfuck? $4 trillion. What a waste. $4 trillion clusterfuck. And then, Medicare for all. How are we going to pay for it? Remember that? How are we going to pay for it? We got $4 trillion bills. Nobody's even fucking asking that question. How are we going to pay for any of this shit? Just put it on the backs of future generations. Just borrow more money from China. We got $20 trillion in debt. I don't think we should just go around spending $4 trillion here, $5 trillion there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Donald Trump had a tweet in 2014, June 4th. I hope we never find life on other planets because there's no doubt that the U.S. government will start sending them money. Tim Ryan and Ro Khanna introduced a $2,000 only check bill back in April when they were talking about the first stimulus. $2,000. It cost us $567 billion, which is $333 billion cheaper. Cut out all those stupid laws and all that fucking pork and all that horse shit and just give us our fucking money. Nancy Pelosi, you owe me $2,000. Kevin McCarthy, U.S. Congress, you owe me $2,000 bucks. And it should be reoccurring until this goddamn pandemic is over. That's what Tim Ryan and Ro Khanna's bill was. I think it was for 6 months, and then they could re-up on it, so they'd have to vote for it again after 6 months. That would have saved America. That would have kept Donald in office. Which maybe it's good he didn't fucking give a shit. But now you're seeing that the Democrats aren't giving a shit either. I also heard that this is just a way to kill the thing. Let's just do a roll call vote, do it like to the Green New Deal, right? You put it up? Anyways, okay. I think that's it for now. Let's end this off with some Jimmy Dore.
I'll tell you why. I bet it has something to do with oil. So there's 2 pipelines. We're going to talk...
This is 2016, and he's explained that the reason why we're fighting a war in Syria is so we could get an oil pipeline through Syria. An oil pipeline connecting 2 oil-rich nations, Iran and Saudi Arabia, maybe. That doesn't sound like we're the good guys in Syria.
To talk about that are going through. One's from Iran, one's from Saudi Arabia, and they both want to go through Syria. Son of a gun. Turns out that's why we're there. But Robert F. Kennedy Jr. wrote an article recently in Politico, and he says why the Arabs don't want us in Syria. They don't hate our freedoms. They hate what we've betrayed our ideals in their own countries for oil. That's right. They hate that we've betrayed our own ideals in their own countries for oil. And so he goes on. There's so many things about this I didn't know. He talks about how we overthrew. First of all,